Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Vance from Starcom, as always. And today I wanted to talk to you about something a little bit more different than the usual things that I put on my YouTube page. I oftentimes, if I make fun of something, I'm not too serious about it. I'm being somewhat sarcastic, and it's meant for comedic relief. But today I wanted to talk about something that's really serious, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it specifically because I just reached 2,000 subscribers, and that's a big accolade for me, and I'm always super appreciative of my fans who support me. And so here we are. We're gonna be talking about a specific thing that affects a lot of new and up and coming YouTube uploaders. A thing that you might be misled into thinking is great. And with that being said, I'm not gonna be too biased. I'm not gonna try and sit here and talk shit about partnerships or anything, but we are going to be talking about partnerships, and we are going to be shining some negative light on them, why you do need them and why you don't need them. So let's get straight into it. So around the time that I uploaded my Excalibur build, I was approached by a TGN representative. He left his email address, which is probably the reason why that comment has been removed by him, is because it featured his email address. We started talking for about a week, I'd say. I started looking into TGN as a viable candidate for a partnership, and I was flattered. I felt like I didn't have that big of a fan base for me to be even considered, and I think that that's a thing that parties such as TGN rely upon, is the fact that you're unaware of what a partnership actually is. You're more inclined to think that, once you're contacted, that means the big time, that means you're going to get a lot of replies, you're just going to make it in the big time, correct? That's what I thought. And I think that TGN, or just partnerships in general, capitalize on the fact that you're ignorant. They capitalize on those things, knowing that you think that it's a big deal. You think that it's flattering to be considered at such an early point in time. Well, I gotta say, giving you a little bit of advice. If something seems like it's too good to be true, it's most likely not true. So I'm not gonna sit here and run my mouth about TGN, because there's a fellow uploader who does Warframe videos called Headshot, and he's with TGN. And there's, you don't ever hear him bashing it. He seems to be perfectly happy and doing just fine. But for me, the issues stemmed a lot to do with the contract. Once I actually got to the point that I could see the contract, which I'll share with you in the video. Once I got to the point that there was a contract involved, it seemed really sketchy to me. It rubbed me the wrong way. It always offends me when things are put into such technical terms that you can barely understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when somebody strives so hard to look professional that it's almost as if they're hiding something. They hide behind big vocabulary terms that nobody's going to understand, and they're just taken away by how flattering it is to be considered for a partnership, that they just sign it without thinking about it. Well, I didn't do that. I'm a little bit more calculated than that. Instead, I took the night over to read over the contract. I sent it to friends. I got their expert analysis. I went to Reddit forums. I educated myself. And what I found was that my opinion of what I was seeing in the contract agreed with pretty much everything everyone else was saying, including the personal friends that I had sent the contract to, and what they had said. It just all coincided. There was a lot of negative things to be said about it. And again, I want to stress that I'm not trying to be biased against TGN. If you're with TGN and you enjoy what you're doing, that's fine. Good for you. I just want to educate the up-and-coming YouTube uploaders who may have an issue, same way I did. Basically, all a partnership really does is protect you from copyright infringement. Oftentimes, they may supply you with a certain soundtrack that's going to ensure that you never get hit with any copyright claims. The biggest issue I ever had was, I think, with my Wukong video. I put Billie Jean by Michael Jackson to a certain part in the video that was a glitch where a guy was obviously moonwalking, and it was an obvious glitch. It was an issue in the game that shouldn't be there, and I made fun of it. I put Michael Jackson like GIF animated images in there, and I put that music to him, and it was blocked for the longest time in countries. And the thing about it is I battled it by myself. I got it unblocked from these said countries on my own. And to this day, I still don't have any copyright strikes. I use songs all the time in my background, to which I give credit for. I do a lot of unique things that have to do with copywritten soundtracks and whatnot, but I don't claim any ownership of those. And I only get like copyright notices. There's no strikes. I think why you ever get a partnership to begin with is because A, you have a big fan base, and B, you're already making enough money that you just want to make sure that when they promote you, when they share it like they do, it ensures that you get a set amount of views. Because the way it works is the only way you're getting money from this is when viewers see your ads. So a partnership will ensure that they share it to a broad, wide spectrum of people, and those people will see your ads and ensure that you make a steady amount of income. They're also going to protect you from copyright claims, copyright strikes, but all of these things are things that you don't necessarily need as a YouTube uploader. You can be just fine winging it on your own. And to that point, I say you have only yourself to thank for what you pump out. The subscribers that I have the world to thank. I have the viewers that I have to thank for that. I'm very thankful and loyal to my fans, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I have myself to thank for pushing out the content to begin with. So your page doesn't need a third-party company to just get involved and have their say with what you do. Getting into that topic. In the contract, somewhere along the lines, it said that everything that I do as an uploader is product of TGN. Now, that could be interpreted several different ways. I'm not so sure, but this is what did it in for me. As a series, you're not so. I want to say that as a series, you're not so complacent about it being misrepresented or claimed ownership by another company, because it's something that you do involving other content. Like for instance, with the series that I have, Warframe God Builds, it has to do with Warframe. It has to do with content that Digital Extremes created. So it has nothing to do with things that I created other than my personal flavor. You know what I'm saying? It's what I brought to the game. But when you talk about things like the intro video, things that I feature at the very beginning that has everything to do with me, that's my artwork, that's my animations, it's things that I put together myself, it has nothing to do with anybody else. That's when it starts to get sketchy for me personally, is because somewhere along the lines I want to be making money off of that, and only that. I want to move on from just featuring gameplay videos to doing my own thing, doing my own artistic work and whatnot. I've planted this seed, and I've been building up to this for such a long time, and people ask me all the time what my intro video is about, why is it there, blah 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 blah, and they don't get that I'm building up to that point. It's a storied progression with me, and if at some point I'm making money off of that, I don't want TGN to just reemerge from my past and be like, well, you signed a contract back when you were doing Warframe God Builds that stated that everything within your videos is a product of TGN. Therefore, the characters that you're using now are obviously the same characters in your intro video, so we demand that we get a portion of your money. No, that's not going to be how it works. See, if I were to join TGN, I would want to be protected by a copyright before I ever sign the contract. I would want my intro video to have a copyright slapped on it. That way it's untouchable. Nobody can gain revenue off of things that I've created, things that I invented, I patented. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole reasoning why I myself declined it. Now we're gonna transition into why you wouldn't do it. Again, as I said earlier, your page is going to grow exponentially on its own. It's not going to need a whole lot of help. If you stay smart, if you stay clever, you don't leave yourself open to copyright infringement. Even if you do sometimes, you're really still not going to run into an issue. It's not like it's bad that you have a strike. It just affects the income. And most of the time when I see content uploaders, they're really just doing it for fun. They're not doing it for money. I'm building up to the point where I am going to be doing it for money, but it's really only because I enjoy it so much, and I rather make a career out of it. You know, I want to be in the entertainment industry. I want to produce content that's original and fun to do. So as a uploader yourself, you just don't need what a partnership offers you. A partnership potentially handicaps you because with TGN, they get 40% of your income. So for all the ads that are seen on your page, 40% of the profit that you're gaining goes straight to them. And beneath 1,000 subscribers, you don't make enough money, and you're not popular enough to get hit with big time copyright infringement, and you're not making enough money to really worry about a partnership. And I think that, you know, partnerships capitalize on you simply not being aware that you don't need a partnership. You get flattered at the fact that you're being offered such a great deal, and really it's not an amazing deal. It's just convenient. That's the best way to describe it. Is it's very convenient. That's a very fair thing to say. I don't think that it talks too much shit about a partnership, and I don't think that it oversells it for what it is. Some people have partnerships they're very, very happy with and very content with, and that's awesome. But 9 times out of 10, you just don't need it. And I think that, you know, if you listen to constructive criticism and you target a specific genre of people, you're doing your own thing, then you should be fine. Real recently, I've had, you know, a lot of English Minecraft cunts get on and bash my page. And they have just issues with the smallest little things. Sometimes it's with intro videos, sometimes it's with what I say, sometimes it's with the mistakes that mistaken information that I instantly put up annotations for. Sometimes it's me making a joke, like when I tell you that you're stupid for not using a weapon. I'm not being serious, and they don't recognize that. They get very butthurt and offended, and they bash me. And, you know, at the end of the day, I just laugh. Most of the time, I ignore it, and I find that my fans will attack them, and that's karma. That's karma. So as you know, and I hope that, you know, if you are English and you are a Minecraft player, that you don't get too offended by this, especially if you haven't bashed me yet. It's just a statistic, really. I find that it's Minecraft players, and they're also English. I have no idea why I generate that amount of hate from that community, but it's whatever. You know, I'm still growing. I think I put on 1,000 subscribers in under a month's time, which is phenomenal, which is why I'm doing this video, which is why I'm trying to help all the up-and-coming YouTube uploaders who may be misled by partnerships. You know, if a big corporation is contacting you when you have low numbers, then it's probably never a good thing. And that's what Reddit users have been posting in forums, is that, you know, if you're under 1,000 subscribers, it's really not gonna help you at all. You're gonna lose money. They're basically gonna be doing things that you could do yourself. You could easily manage completely on your own. I wouldn't consider, personally, now, I wouldn't consider a partnership up until, I don't know, like 10,000 subscribers, somewhere along the lines, when I start to run into a little bit more issues. Maybe if YouTube ever starts to crack down on the soundtracks that I use and, ban it in more countries, then maybe I might pursue a third-party asset to protect, the content that I upload. But other than that, I don't need it. I'm growing all on my own. I keep pushing out content. I keep honing it to a specific breed of people, and nothing's going to change. I'm not going to change my intro video. I'm not going to change my production. I'm not going to change. When it comes to constructive criticism, I take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes I agree, sometimes I disagree, but I'm not going to change. I'm well known for what I do, and you should be too. You should be comfortable with what you do, and as long as you're successful, it's nobody's business. Everybody's going to bash you at some point, and just don't listen to them. Don't listen to a third-party company that gets involved with your shit. Don't listen to people who are going to bash on you. There's going to be people who bash on you regardless. So, I hope that you found this video helpful and it wasn't too much of a waste of your time. It maybe opened your eyes to third-party assets, partnerships and what have you. So, if you like this video, rate, comment, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. And definitely join our Facebook group if you're a fan of Warframe, because you will be seeing exclusive content that you won't see if you're just a subscriber. And I'll keep pushing out videos for the loyal fans. It's always a pleasure to have you guys view my videos 100%, and I'll keep trucking as long as you keep supporting. So, until next time, peace.